Hello students, so we have discussed section 28 which was regarding to the incomes, right, which should be credited to the profit to the income of your PGBP. Now the next important thing is about the expenses which are allowed as deductions under section 30 to 37. These are very important one which I'll be discussing in detail in the coming session, but you should be aware about, as we have done for the incomes, for the expenses as well, we have to follow certain rules as to regarding whether which expense should be debited in order to calculate the PGBP income or which should not be debited in order to calculate the PGBP income. So this is section 30 which talks about expenses of building which is for business or profession. So this is specifically for building. Okay, we have to ascertain about the nature of the expense, that whether it is revenue expenditure or it is capital expenditure. Okay, since you all are commerce students, so I know you know that which expenditure we should treat as revenue and which to treat as capital. Okay, so for revenue expenditure, if it is incurred by tenant, okay, it will be debited in P&L account. If it is done by owner, then also it is allowed to be debited in P&L account. When it comes to capital expenditure, if it is done by tenant, okay, so tenant can claim depreciation, and this is the only exceptional case to the basic principle that only owner can claim the depreciation. This is under section 32, and we'll discuss that section 32 in very much detail, in which you will understand how we can compute the depreciation under Income Tax Act. Okay, so for till that time, you just take a note that even if the tenant has done a capital expenditure in relation to the building, okay, this is talking about the building, then he can claim the depreciation under section 32. And if it is done by owner, definitely the owner, as per the basic rule, can claim the depreciation under section 32. And what all are the revenue expenditures which is included under this category is all the rents, rates, taxes, repairs and insurance for the building or the premises. So this particular section is only in relation to the building. Okay, we have already understood the meaning of the building in our house property chapter. So this is the same meaning, and whenever any expenditure is done on that building, you have to ascertain whether it is revenue or capital. Revenue will definitely be debited to the P&L account, because you already know that P&L account में हमेशा revenue nature जाता है, capital हमेशा balance sheet में जाता है. So this is on the same rule only. बस difference ये है कि इस केस में अगर कोई कैपिटल एक्सपेंडिचर हो रहा है लैंड पे, तो टेनेंट भी उसका डेप्रिसिएशन क्लेम कर सकता है जैसे ओनर करता है. Okay, then next other important section is section 31, which is regarding to the repairs and insurance of machinery, plant and furniture. Okay, so these are the assets, or any kind of repair or any kind of insurance is taken for these assets, then you have to again check whether it is revenue or it is capital. If it is revenue, then definitely it will be debited in P&L account, whether it is incurred by tenant or by owner. It will be debited. Means revenue, to in short, is always debited. Regarding to the capital expenditure, tenant cannot claim depreciation. It means if he has made any expenditure in relation to the machinery, plant or furniture, then that capital expenditure he cannot claim the depreciation. He is allowed to claim depreciation only in relation to the building, but for machinery, plant and furniture he is not allowed. But definitely the owner can claim the depreciation under section 32. Okay, so this is very important. And revenue expenditure includes all kinds of repairs and insurance for the machinery, plant and furniture. So this is regarding to the machinery, plant and furniture, that is section 31. So in short, if I would say, all the revenue expenditures are allowed for both the tenant as well as to the owner. But as regards to the capital expenditures, it is not allowed, but definitely the depreciation can be claimed by the owner and tenant, both in case of building, but only by the ओनर इन केस इट इज मशीनरी प्लांट एंड फर्नीचर। ओके, इस केस में टेनेंट नहीं क्लेम कर सकता। रेवेन्यू इज अवेलेबल टू ऑल। ओके, then next is section 37, and it is very important from the examination point of view that all general expenditures that can be debited to P&L account, these are called as general deductions under section 37 subsection 1. Section 32 as to regarding the depreciation, that we'll do later in the sessions, but first we'll understand about the general deductions. These are very important before moving to any kind of a practical question. Okay, so general expenditures that can be debited only if the following conditions are satisfied. Which all are the conditions? Expenditure should be revenue in nature, that we have already know that for P&L account definitely the revenue expenditure should be there. Expenditure should be relating to the business or profession or vocation and should not be personal expenditure of the assessee. It means in case he is spending some part of it for his own personal use or the entire portion for his personal use, means it is not allowed to be debited. It means you have to add that back to the profit in order to calculate your PGBP income. Similarly, the expenditure should be in the nature of charge against profits and not in the nature of apportionment of profits. You must remember about the nature of the P&L account and the P&L appropriation account, right? P&L appropriation is an apportionment of the profits. It is not a charge, and you all must. I am assuming that you guys know about the difference between the P&L and the P&L appropriation account. So this is the same rule, that only the income expenses which are charged against profit should be debited. Okay, if it is not, then it is not allowed to be debited. Then expenditure should not be prohibited under any law for the time being. Okay, if it is prohibited, we cannot claim that. For example, your bribe or any kind of things which is not allowed, it means we should definitely add them back to the income. It should have been carried out in the previous year, and the expenditure should not be in the nature described under section 30 to 36. 30, 31 we have already done. 32 is regarding to the depreciation, and 36 is regarding to the bad debts. Okay, so some of them we'll do later in the sessions. Okay, but till that time you must be aware that these are the general deductions, and these are applicable in all the circumstances where the nature is where the expenses has not been explicitly explained. Sections 30 to 36 are the already explicit explanations regarding to the sections and the treatment, but these 37 section 37 is about the general deductions. Okay, some of the examples, for example, that can be debited are salary and wages of staff except salary of sole proprietor. सोल प्रोप्राइटर की नहीं होगी, उसके अलावा सारी डेबिट हो सकती है. इंटरेस्ट ऑन लोन एंड कैपिटल एक्सेप्ट इंटरेस्ट ऑन कैपिटल ऑफ सोल प्रोप्राइटर. सो इसमें भी सोल प्रोप्राइटर के अलावा सब कुछ आपका डेबिट हो सकता है. देन एक्सपेंडिचर ऑन वाटर, इलेक्ट्रिसिटी और टेलीफोन, एडवर्टीजमेंट एक्सपेंसेस, प्रोफेशनल टैक्सेस पेड. ओके, सो दिस इज ऑल्सो अलाउड इन एनी केस इफ PT प्रोफेशनल टैक्स इज बीइंग पेड बाय द assessee. Then payment of fees to registrar of companies, all your indirect taxes paid, even the interest on late payment of indirect taxes. Interest on late payment is allowed, but penalty is not allowed. Always remember, okay? Penalty is not allowed, but interest on late payment is allowed to be debited. Then expenditure on issue of debentures will be written off over the life of the debenture. So this is also allowed. And this is very important ruling. That is, as per the Supreme Court ruling in the case of General Insurance Corporation Limited, expenditures incurred on the issue of share capital is a capital expenditure and will not be debited to P&L account. But expenditure incurred on the issue of bonus shares is revenue in the nature and therefore will be allowed to be debited to P&L account. And there is a specific reason which is given by the Supreme Court in this regard, is that the issue of bonus share is mere an allocation of the company's fund. This is basically the capitalization of reserves. It is not going to provide any inflow of fresh funds into the capital. This is just the reallocation of the company's fund. That is why we say that the issue of bonus share is revenue in nature, and all the kinds of expenditures which are incurred on that, they will be allowed to be debited. इशू ऑफ शेयर कैपिटल में एक्सपेंडिचर्स अलाउड नहीं है, बट बोनस शेयर्स में अलाउड है. हमेशा याद रखना, दिस इज वेरी 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 इंपॉर्टेंट. ओके, now we'll move to the questions, and for that I'll prepare a separate video. Thank you for watching.